Hey guys, this is King Kratz here. I'm making a second video today. I gotta be honest, I just found this out like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes ago. Seth Jones has been traded from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Florida Panthers. And I'm kind of amazed that this even happened. Somehow this actually worked out. Jones is going to Florida, and in exchange, the Blackhawks are acquiring Spencer Knight and a first round pick in 2026. The Blackhawks are retaining $2.5 million on Jones's contract, who he is currently 30 years old and he is signed through 2029, 2030, with his actual cap hit being at $9.5 million. So now he's at $7 million for Florida, and he's only in year three of this deal. The first round pick also has conditions. The pick will slide to 2027 if Florida does not have its selection in the 2026 draft, according to Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff. And if the Panthers' first rounder in 2025 is in the top 10, which it won't, then Florida will send its 2026 first rounder to the Calgary Flames as part of the Matthew Tkachuk trade back in 2022. So this essentially will complete the deal. And yeah, basically this pick is probably going to slide to 2027, which is absolutely crazy. The fact that this happened. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First of all, I heard that Seth Jones may be trade bait for this deadline, and I thought it was absolutely insane. I don't think anybody's picking up that contract. The guy's decent, but first of all, like he's now 30 years old. He's probably going to be spending most of his career either stuck with the Blackhawks or maybe getting on a contender, but it would take a lot of like salary retention to really make a deal work for anybody. And the fact that the Panthers can just come in here, give up basically their next young goalie and a first round pick that I'm surprised they still have because they've given up so many first rounders over the last couple years. But it did get them a cup last season, right? So I guess it works. Um, they do get 2.5 million retained on Jones, which is great, but now you have his contract for basically the rest of the decade now, and you got to hope that he ages well. I mean, this is a guy who can be a very solid power play quarterback, great offensive ability, not great defensively. Um, and I mean, the contract was already ridiculed within the last or so seasons, considering the Blackhawks literally transitioned into a rebuild once Chicago picked up Jones as a free agent. And well, actually, not as a free agent. They traded for him. I forgot. But either way, it still counts. And for Chicago and what they're getting back, the first round pick is excellent for the Panthers, mainly because if you think about it, this pick is obviously a few years down the road, but the Blackhawks are going to be rebuilding for at least another 2 seasons. They're going to be at the bottom of the standings. So this is going to help them continue to supplement their prospect pool, which eventually they're going to have to thin out. Or if they somehow peak a little bit earlier than expected and defy some expectations, they could maybe use this pick as a future trade surplus for either veterans or some other quality talent. So it could really help. Spencer Knight is also only 23 years old, and this is the last year of his current deal. He will be an RFA at the end of the season, which is still pretty good. Um, which is, it's going to help. I mean, he does have another year left on this contract, and he does have okay numbers. The only problem with Knight is he has dealt with, I guess, a combination of injuries and maybe some mental health stuff. I think he entered the player assistance program not too long ago, and he's only recently come back. And, he hasn't played too much. I mean, if you look at this year, he's played 23 games. He's averaging about a 907 save percentage and 2.4 goals against, which, of course, for Chicago, they basically would love anybody right now that can stop a puck. I mean, Peter Mrazek, they picked him up for the long haul so they can continue tanking. And Arvid Soderblom is, at this point, most likely going to be a backup for them. So they needed somebody to really solidify the net. And this is a great option. Knight is young enough that he will stick around for the Blackhawks core, which is great and should help them get back into competitiveness a few years down the road when they actually start to build up the roster. And certainly Spencer Knight becomes their number one option. I don't know if they're going to play him this year. Maybe they just have him play as a backup, and then starting next season he becomes the full-time starter. I don't know. Either way, this trade is absolutely crazy. I'm going to say right now that the Blackhawks win only because they've got their goalie of the future and they've got a first round pick, and they somehow were able to get out of Seth Jones's contract without having to give up too much in retention value. For the Panthers, I'm not really sure how Seth Jones fits in their decor because they've already got a lot of guys back there with Forsling and Ekblad. I don't really know what exactly they're going to put him in. Obviously, he's meant for the power play, but I just don't know how this looks up, especially because the team eventually is going to start aging. And if Jones declines even further when he's in Florida or he's sort of stuck in the team's doghouse, it's not going to look great. But either way, I'm excited to hear what anybody has to say about this. I hope I'm the first one on YouTube that actually makes a video about this. That would be awesome. But anyway, let me know what you think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.